Continuing with Objective 3, now we're going to define the two categories of medical terms. So all medical terms in the text are divided into two categories. Either they are built from word parts or they are not built from word parts. So this table 1.1 is the same one that is in your textbook. So the first row going across, these are terms built from word parts. So they can be translated literally to find their meanings. Word parts, again, are usually made up of Greek or Latin origin. They're put together to form words that can be translated literally to find their meanings. So example, arthritis. We will learn what those mean in a little bit, but you will learn how to define these terms by analyzing the terms, defining the terms, and building the terms. Now the other category are terms not built from word parts. These cannot be easily translated literally to find their meanings. So again, eponyms. Again, Lou Gehrig's disease cannot be broken down and analyzed or defined. So eponyms, again, are terms derived from the name of a person or place, such as Alzheimer's disease. Then you have acronyms, which are terms formed from the first letter of a phrase that can be spoken as a whole word and usually contains a vowel. MRSA cannot be analyzed. Modern language, these are terms derived from the English language, such as complete, blood count, and differential. And then you have terms of Greek and Latin word parts that cannot be easily translated to find their meaning, such as orthopedics. So the only way you will learn medical terms that are not built from word parts are to recall the terms, match the terms, and define the terms. So here are two review questions. So number one, Parkinson's disease would be considered as a term that is built from word parts or not built from word parts. So you have to ask yourself, can you break down the word Parkinson into word parts? And hopefully you're saying no. It's actually going to be an eponym. It was named after the doctor who discovered the disease, Parkinson's disease. Number two, osteoarthritis would be considered as a term built from word parts or not built from word parts. Again, we haven't even discussed the word parts yet, but in a little bit you will be able to determine that this is going to be built from word parts. The osteo means bone, the arthro means joint, and the itis means inflammation. And so we'll talk about that in just a little bit. Objective 4, identifying and defining the four word parts and the combining form. So here are your four word parts. You have to know what these four word parts are and how they're used. The word part is the core of each word. Each medical term will contain at least one word root that conveys the fundamental meaning of the term. So in your textbook, just in the normal word player, play would be the word root. But in the medical term arthritis, arthro, which means joint, is a word root. And in the medical term hepatitis, the hepat, which means liver, is going to be the word root. So again, the word root is the core of the word, therefore each medical term contains one or more word roots. Then we have prefix. These are attached to the beginning of a medical term to modify its meaning. So in the word replay, re is the prefix. In the medical term subhepatic, sub, which means under or below, is going to be the prefix. And in the medical term intravenous, the intra, which means within, is going to be the prefix. So again, a prefix can be used to modify the meaning of the medical term. Many medical terms do not have a prefix, so a prefix is not mandatory for a medical term to exist. You do not have to use a prefix. Then we have suffix attached to the end of a medical term to modify its meaning. So in the word player, the ER is a suffix. In the medical term hepatic, the ic, which means pertaining to, is a suffix. In the medical term hepatitis, the itis, which means inflammation, is the suffix. Again, the suffix is used to modify the meaning of the word. Most medical terms have a suffix, but again, not all of them, but most of them do. And then we have a combining vowel. A combining vowel is just used to ease pronunciation, and it's usually the letter O. Not all the time, but usually it's the letter O. The next few things I'm going to cover are not on the slides, but they are in your textbook. So the combining vowel is placed to connect two word roots. It's also placed to connect a word root and a suffix, but it is not placed to connect a prefix and a word root. So look at the examples in the medical term osteoarthritis. The O is the combining vowel used between two word roots, oste and arthro. In the medical term arthropathy, O is the combining vowel used to connect the word root arthro and the suffix pathy. But in the medical term subhepatic, the combining vowel is not used between the prefix sub and the word root hepat. So again, there are some rules about the combining vowels that we're going to go over right now, but again, they're not on the slides though. So guideline 1, when connecting a word root and a suffix, a combining vowel is used if the suffix does not begin with a vowel. And again, your vowels are A, E, I, O, U. So in the medical term arthropathy, the suffix pathy does not begin with a vowel, therefore a combining vowel is used. So pathy begins with a consonant, a P, so you will put the combining vowel in between the two just to ease pronunciation. Guideline 2. When connecting a word root and a suffix, a combining vowel is usually not used if the suffix begins with a vowel. So the example hepatic, the suffix ic begins with the vowel, which is the I, therefore a combining vowel is not used. Guideline 3. When connecting two word roots, a combining vowel is usually used even if vowels are present at the conjunction. So in the medical term osteoarthritis, O is the combining vowel used even though the word root oste ends with the vowel E and the word root arthro begins with the vowel A. It is still used. And then guideline 4, when connecting a prefix and a word root, a combining vowel is not used. Subhepatic, the combining vowel is not used between the prefix sub and the word root hepat. Table 1.2 in your textbook just again basically describes those 4 guidelines that I just went over. So again, it's just a good way to reiterate what they're saying. And again, lots of exercises within the chapter. Great way to practice. The answers are in Appendix A and it's not for a grade, but I highly recommend you doing them. And then we need to talk about the combining form. So first of all, the word roots are the core of the word, the fundamental meaning of that term. So most medical terms have one or more word roots. So then they talk about a combining form. The combining form is a word root with its combining vowel attached. For learning purposes, we put these slashes between the word parts just so you can visually see the breakup of the terms. Okay? But again, when you're writing them or spelling them, you're not going to put those slashes. It's just for learning purposes. So oncologist, the logist is the suffix, the O is the combining vowel, the onc is the word root, okay? In the textbook, they're giving you a few more examples. Arth/O, oste/O, vene/O. Again, the combining form is for learning purposes only. They're just putting the slash in between the word parts in order for students to be able to comprehend the separation of the word parts easier. Table 1.3 in your textbook is just listing the word parts and the combining vowel, giving them the definition, and again giving the example. So one more time, word root is the core of the word. So hepatitis, they're bolding the part that is the word root. In this case, hepat is the word root. The suffix is at the end of the word and it modifies the term's meaning. So hepatitis, the itis is the suffix. The prefix attached at the beginning of a word root to modify its meaning. Subhepatic, the sub is the prefix. The combining vowel, usually the letter O, and it's just used to ease pronunciation to make it flow better. So hepatomegaly, the O is just there to make it sound better when you're pronouncing it. Because just imagine that it's not there. You'd have to say hepatmegaly. which doesn't sound awful, but there are some terms that if you did not have that O in there, it would sound horrible. And then again, the combining form is just the word root with that slash and the combining vowel after it. It's just for learning purposes only. On the tests, if I ask you to spell a term, you will not be putting those slashes in there at all. So hepato, again, they're just showing you the separation of the word parts, and that's it. There's some more exercises that you can do in the textbook for more practice. So just finishing up the slides here. Again, the suffix, it's usually abbreviated with the letter S attached to the end of the word root, provides additional meaning or modifies its meaning. Not all medical terms have a suffix. Prefix attached to the beginning of the word and provides additional information. It also modifies the meaning. Not all medical terms have a prefix. So here we have a review question. So the word part is the core of the word is a blank. So again, hopefully you have known that the word part that is the core of the word is the word root. And then one other review question. If vowels are present at the junction of two word roots such as osti and arthra in a medical term, a combining vowel is usually still used, not used, used twice, or the letter I. And again, if you go back to your guidelines, that was guideline 3. So even if vowels are present at the junction, you are still going to use the combining vowel. In this case, it's an O. So your answer should be A. And that is going to end this recording.